Oh, there we go. Well, it's always nice to start a presentation by knowing you're a super sub for Craig Charles, so let's do that first of all. And then the second one is knowing that none of the slides work, so this is great. But I like it that way because there's one thing we do well at Eden Project is making, and our whole team, we always tell each other, just do things that make you feel uncomfortable. Because if you feel comfortable, you really can't push the edge of what you think is possible. So right now, this is me doing just that. So, what an amazing time to live in Morecambe. What an amazing time to live in Lancaster. What an amazing time to be part of this incredible community in this county. There's a crackle in the air. There really is. And every single time I come to Morecambe, I feel it. And it's not just because today's been one of those days with crisp air, blue skies, wonderful sunshine. Because I was here on the 10th of August when I was being blown sideways over there in the carnival. And what grey hair I have was out here. And it's not about the sense of Eden Project coming, because that is important, but it's about the sense of a community. It's about a community that's prepared to roll its sleeves up and say, we want this more than we've ever wanted anything else. And that is for one simple reason. As I was coming up from Cornwall, I got this sense in my mind that people say we had Morecambe in its heyday, Morecambe when it was in its heyday. Who the hell said any town has to have one heyday? A heyday is simply a point, a pinnacle, which you've achieved. And who's to say the next heyday for Morecambe isn't going to be bigger and better? And so I want to start this sense of what Eden means, what it means to me, it means the team, and every single person that's helped us get this far, is the fact that Morecambe's past is remarkable, but Morecambe's future is even more remarkable. And it's because of the community, and it's because of this fantastic bay that's out there that's the inspiration for Eden Project North. So if you're with us, let's hear it now. Come on. So, I wouldn't be stood here today, and thank you so much as well, because I know I'm being kept to 15 minutes, and Dame Sue is looking at me thinking, don't pinch my slot, is because, first of all, there are a number of you being here means that there's some incredible charitable work can be done. And I met somebody about a year ago called Jenny Latouche, had an idea called Escape to Make, which is simply about connecting young people and making sure they were inspired to have a different future. Because without our young people in this community, all of it, there is no future. There really isn't. They are our future. So the other person and the other group that we want to support, and it's Eden's nomination, along I think with the University of Lancaster, Dame Sue, is your money tonight from those calendars. So please buy all of them. Goes to Jenny Latouche and Escape to Make, a wonderful charity that's got a fantastic future ahead of it. So thank you so much for them. So, everybody's seen the picture. Can I have a show of hands who's seen the picture of what Eden North may look like as our concept? There we go, there it is. But what I'm not going to talk about that. What I'm going to talk about is we all know what it may look like, but I think you're all here to hear what's inside. What's it going to feel like? What's the big news? And I can't wait to tell you more about some of those things with some questions afterwards. But the first thing to say, and people often ask me, is why Morecambe? And you know Morecambe really, really well. And to me, it's really clear. But just so everybody knows why Eden Project was invited to come and work in Morecambe was because we had some wonderful support from Lancaster University, from Lancaster City Council, from Lancaster County Council, and the Local Enterprise Partnership that enabled us to start looking and wondering, was this feasible? Could we do it? Could I make this mic work? Was this feasible at all? And the answer came back in November last year, it absolutely was. And it was for a couple of reasons. If you look back at the remarkable past of Morecambe, and there's some brilliant people who can talk about the seaside resorts of the past and what it means, Morecambe has always been a place that people have come to in their droves to take air, to take holiday, to be entertained, to enjoy time with their families, to reconnect with each other, and in a sense to, I don't know, just feel better. In those days, in the past, they didn't call it well-being. They didn't call it health and well-being. They just called it having a holiday. And it was all inspired by coming to marvellous places such as this. But we looked at Morecambe Bay and we said, wow, if Eden Project is an educational charity, if we're a charity that really does believe in the power of people, if we really are a charity that believes in the power of transformation, this is the place to do it. And it's the place to do it because out there is the most remarkable bay. And so the whole project, as the first principle, is it's going to be absolutely rooted in Morecambe Bay. The ecology of the bay, the stories of the bay, what the bay means. And it's all of Morecambe Bay. And I was over in Grange over Sands this morning looking at Grange Lido, And for the first time ever for me, actually, looking back at Morecambe Bay, and it's still remarkable, every way you look at it, it's incredible. But we are inspired by Morecambe Bay. Absolutely, it's an incredible place, and all the designations that come from that. But the second one was more surprising. And it came from looking at the ground in the town hall and saw this wonderful mosaic. And underneath it, under the shield, it said, beauty surrounds and health abounds. So what is that? What does that even mean? Well, it really does mean for us anyway, that where you connect with nature, where you have beautiful nature all around you, with Morecambe Bay, with the Lake District, all the wonderful stuff you have, then health follows. That's what it means. Now, we're going to add one more thing to that, which is beauty surrounds, health abounds, and nature astounds. Because we are so passionate about the ability for humans to connect with nature in a really meaningful way. We want to bring that to life. And for us, that's the Eden ethos. That's what's created Cornwall, and I'd love to show you some slides. I'm just going to point and pretend they're there. That's what it means for us in Cornwall, and it's going to be the same thing here. But let's get to the point. So what's going to be inside? Well, the main thing is we've started to work that Morecambe is famous because Morecambe Bay is made by the moon. And just bear with me on this one. So Morecambe is all about tidal flow. And if it's about tidal flow, it's about rhythms. And quite frankly, we're all guided by rhythms in life. And when I travel far too much, then I know my rhythms go out of whack. But this bay, every 12 hours, tide comes in, tide goes out. The nutrients, the wildlife, the ecology, refreshed in all that time. And so we're going to bring that story to life. And so the first thing we're going to have is going to be an abundant environment, which is the Bay Hall. And that for us is going to be called Above the Bay. And can I take a show of hands of those who've been to Eden Project in Cornwall? That's a good enough number. So that's kind of the feel you're going to get from the Mediterranean biome, for those that have been there. It's that kind of notion of perpetual spring. So when you're in August and it's freezing cold, didn't I say January, but August and it's freezing cold, you're getting blown sideways, you can go to a place that you just feel amazing. You can take your jacket off. It is perpetual spring. It's abundantly planted. But likewise, you can look around you and see beautiful, lush, green environment. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But also, you're going to have some immersive experiences that can really start sensitizing you and helping people understand just what's outside the window. So that's the first part, Above the Bay. And it's going to be guided, I guess, by the kind of solar cycles and linking into that first cycle of life. Well, if we've got Above the Bay, then you guessed it, there's a Below the Bay part. And that isn't we're going to get down and deep into the sands. We might do some of that too, of course. But that's really about bringing to life the moon, the lunar cycle, and actually being quite playful. So one of the things we've never done before at Eden Project is to start to be theatrical, to use the best of immersive technologies to bring that to life in a way that people have never seen. We're working with some pretty cool corporations and companies, and we're really excited to create those immersive experiences. One of them is called Marshmallow Laser Feast. I won't go into the others. But they're brilliant people, and we can't wait to create this theatrical set from which having this theatre of people and plants to be able to show what's below the bay with ecology. And why is that important? Because if we truly are an educational charity, and if we truly are to connect people to Morecambe Bay, we've got to try and help them understand it in ways they've never seen. Because one of the things we're passionate about is if people care and they understand, you will then look at the world outside you with more curious eyes. And if you're more curious about what you see and you understand it more, you might take some action. And that action may be quite subtle, or that action might be quite forceful. Who knows? All we know is we have got 10 years to respond to the climate emergency. We've got 10 years to do something about these tipping points that our planet is going through. And another reason why we can't wait for this project, because it just simply has to happen to make sure the messages of the importance of our planet get rammed home as much as we can do to make sure we offer people the opportunity to understand. And back to the third point, really, which is about if we've got above the bay and below the bay, we've got another element, which is about education. And the education part, we're calling our natural observatory. And that's a means, quite simply, for people to observe and to sense and to learn. And that's at the lowest level with early years children, and Wes is going to go through some of that, I'm sure, from Lancaster and Morecambe College, right up to PhD students and everybody in between. A sense of a living laboratory that people can explore and understand. Because the three principles for us at Eden about transformation are about economic transformation. Well, we all know that when Eden is part of the community here, we hope everybody's going to benefit in terms of economic growth, and that includes jobs and hope and lots more besides. But we also know there's a social transformation that comes from it by bringing communities together, There's already a fantastic community, but if Eden was a person, how could we be a valued part of that community, and by invitation, do things with Morecambe alongside you? And the final part of that is about making sure that education is about transforming people's understanding. And therefore, the overriding thing for Eden Project North is making sure that people understand the Bay better than they've ever understood it before. So that involves harnessing the best we can involve, which is working with people here, I think, from Lancaster University, Lancaster and Morecambe College, but so many more people besides, school teachers, wherever you are, to come in and use Eden Project North as a convening place to learn, to understand, and quite frankly, have an amazing time and have fun doing so. So I think I'm probably coming to a bit of my limit of time. I'm checking people now. But the final thing I was going to say, really, and back to my kind of starting point of this crackle in the air, hopefully you can tell how passionate I am about this, but it's not just me that's passionate, because the whole Eden team are passionate, because this is really important to us. We had a community consultation about 4 weeks ago, and again, I love doing the show of hands. How many people came to the community consultation events, the conversations? A few of you, hopefully some more will. And 2,500 people told us that you wanted Eden Project to come. But even more of you said, we can't wait for you to come quicker, get here as quick as you can. And we really are doing that. So the other reason I've come up today is also to just say the whole of the Eden team is working hard as we can to make this happen. It is going to happen, because some people, every time I get in a taxi, say, is this project going to happen? And the answer is, yes, it is. And the reason I can say so unequivocally, yes, it's going to happen, is because when I look to my left and my right and I see people around us in the project, we know that they're all with us in a way that has humility, in a way that is honest, in a way that says we're with you because we're working really hard alongside you, not just saying but doing. And that means a heck of a lot, because building a project like an Eden project, there's only ever been one. That was it. I'm pointing again at the thing that isn't there. That was it. And in order to do that, it needed every single sinew of someone's body and a team's body. And the best things in life are always done as a team. So my final rallying call is, are you part of this team? Because we really need every single one of you to go and talk to your friends, your family, and to talk about this project and to make it happen. Because the government may give us some money, some other people may give us some money, but when this really happens, every single member of this community needs to come together to say, this is our project, this is Morecambe's project, and it's Morecambe Bay's project, and we want it to happen. We're going to rely on you. You can rely on us to give our best at all times. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure talking to you. There we go, and I can't wait to listen to your questions.